It's a big night for hospitality students at the Universal College of Learning as cookery students from Wanganui join front of house students from Palmerston North to put on a 6-course degustation dinner.
Tonight is a climax for some students 3 years or 2 years. They've done a degustation dinner that they've gone and designed. This is where you take your basic skills and you develop them into your own dishes. So tonight's 6-course degustation dinner is all from dishes that the students have actually designed themselves.
But Gigu is concerned about her graduates entering the hospitality industry, which is facing a severe staffing shortage.
The shortage of hospitality staff is worldwide. It's really scary for me because it's an industry that I'm really passionate about. There are people who want to go into the industry, but they're not necessarily getting a fabulous experience because there's not enough staff, so they're getting those long hours.
Gigu attributes the crisis in part to the COVID-19 pandemic, which led to widespread job losses in the hospitality sector.
We went into COVID, so many people in hospitality lost their jobs, so they then went and found different careers. So now the hospitality industry is crying out for chefs. And it's so easy to get a job. You can just walk in and you may have had no kitchen experience and you can start cooking.
While it may be easy to secure a job in the hospitality industry, Gigu emphasises the importance of proper training for those considering hospitality as a career.
Well, you can always just go into the industry instead of doing some training. But coming into a training institution, you'll find that we'll actually dedicate classes to specific things. So you go out with a raft of knowledge and skills that then you can actually put into play wherever you are.
Business owner and chef Richard Wilson agrees there is a staffing shortage in the hospitality industry, but remains unsure as to why.
Most business owners and restaurant owners I know around town are looking for staff. Whether or not it's an industry that's hard for kids to get into, or they get into it and they find it's not quite what they expected. Combination of many things, I guess, yeah.
But meanwhile, across the road at Porridge Watson, Tony Sunderman says he's had no trouble finding staff for his popular craft beer and live music venue.
Luckily at Porridge Watson we've had quite a good crew. They've been with us for a while, and a lot of them are casuals. We sort of look that people live their life first before they work as well, I guess, so we're very flexible with people going away on holiday, going to do their own things with their family and stuff, and then work secondary. I think it makes hospitality much more enjoyable.
Sunderman's bad experiences in the hospitality industry have motivated him to create a positive working environment for his staff.
I've worked in some terrible bars where bosses don't really treat their staff right, bars where you have to pay for your own dinner while you're on shift. It's just not really acceptable. We pay our staff the living wage. That's the starting rate for anyone. So that can go up incrementally with time and skill.
The small business owner appreciates working alongside skilled employees, but he's not a huge fan of hospitality school. Sunderman says the most important part of working in hospitality is experience in the workforce.
We've had people that have done courses before and they're not really fast-paced enough and can't think on their feet. They know how to make a coffee or a beer maybe, but you don't really learn until you're on the job. We're a bar, craft beer bar, with 60 beers in the fridge. You're not going to know what they are by going to a school and learning about it. When you're in a classroom environment, there's no people pushing, there's no drunk people. You need to really experience a functioning working bar because no day is the same.
But Wilson remains a believer in the importance of proper hospitality training.
Coming to a hospitality school, it gives you a basis of classical training, builds up some skills first before you jump directly into the industry. It teaches them the skills they need to learn, and it puts them in touch with people like me that are already in the industry.
Wilson says UCOL students have worked for him while studying and would consider paying graduates extra.
I think for sure I would pay graduates slightly more than a guy that's walked off the street, because they've obviously achieved some courses and they've shown that they've committed themselves to the industry.
Wilson says he pays above the minimum wage of $21.20 an hour, but does not think staff should be paid extra for working weekends.
If they're coming into hospitality, I think it's expected that you work weekends and stuff like that. Students that are starting out like this, working for me at the moment, I pay them a training wage, but then once they come on, they start slightly above minimum wage at the moment, yeah. So $23, $24, whatever it is an hour, yeah.
The minimum training wage in New Zealand is $16.96 an hour. This applies to employees aged 20 and over who are completing recognised industry training. Chloe Ann King, founder of Raise the Bar Hospitality Union, says she is strongly against the training wage.
If you're paying your workers a training wage, you are leaving them in poverty. For example, I had to get one of our members a food grant the other day. They're working and they still need welfare. So what does that tell you about our industry? We oppose the training wage. It should always be set at least at the minimum wage.
Ann King believes that low wages and poor working conditions are the main contributing factors to the current staffing shortage.
We are going to see more staff shortages if employers in this industry don't up their game, if they're not going to offer penal rates for working weekends, if they're not going to lift their wages to livable incomes.
It's a very different story across the ditch. In Australia, casual hospitality workers aged 20 plus are paid a minimum of $26.73 an hour. From 7 p.m. till midnight, they get an extra $2.48 an hour, and after midnight, it is an extra $3.71. On Saturdays, the base casual rate is $32.07 an hour. Sundays, it's $37.42, and for public holidays, the starting rate is $53.45 an hour. In New Zealand, the minimum wage of $21.20 applies any time and any day apart from time and a half on public holidays. Ann King has some words of advice for hospitality employers who are struggling to find staff.
This is a highly skilled industry, and absolutely there should be qualifications that could be gained from it. What needs to happen is hospo employers need to start valuing those qualifications. Start paying livable incomes to your workers. Start ensuring that they're getting all their rest and meal breaks. It's basic stuff, like start offering nutritious meals on shift. Actually roster your workers on for shifts that are not 14-hour back-to-back doubles, because every day at Raise the Bar, we are speaking with hospo workers that are burnt out, they're injured. Those injuries happen because they're fatigued on work. It really does come down to working conditions that are positive and where workers feel safe and valued.
But the hospitality industry in Australia is facing a staffing shortage of its own. In a written statement to Local Focus, Kate Turner, part owner of Gertrude and Alice Cafe Bookstore, says many other cafes in the Bondi area are struggling to find staff. Pre-COVID, we were spoilt for choice. Now you can barely get someone to even turn up for an interview. Turner also admits the small business can struggle to afford the penalty rates. We reduced the costs by working ourselves as the owners of the business on higher penalty days, but with reduced hours. With unemployment at a record low in Australia, people are choosing to work in industries that offer even higher pay and even better working conditions.
Who wants to work the hours the hospitality people work, you know? The long shifts, the dirty and the hot kitchen. But then again, there's the fun, there's the camaraderie, there's the creativity that you can also get from being in the kitchen. Students who've actually done their qualifications, yes, they'll find that they might start off on a low rung because they've just got to get up to speed for the people who've actually been in the industry and walked off the street. But then they actually can click into the knowledge that they've learned, and then they rise through the ranks a lot faster.
Entering the hospitality industry is clearly a hard slog for anyone, but with New Zealand opening its borders and the event calendar looking busier than ever, these UCOL graduates will have no shortage of job opportunities. Ben Carter, Local Focus.